So rejoice everyone, it's finally back, the long night is over and Game of Thrones has returned to our screens. If you haven't watched Game of Thrones before or you're not sure what it is, I hope you're having fun living under Casterly Rock. If you have watched Game of Thrones before, you'll know that weddings are a huge deal in the show. Sometimes they take up entire episodes and they're usually major events. So let's take a look at some of the key weddings in the series and what inspiration we can take from them to enhance your own Game of Thrones themed wedding. There are loads of ideas we've already seen that aren't entertainment based, such as sending your invites by Raven, maybe with your own Lannister wax red seal. You can also set your tables up to have different houses from the actual series. And another thing you can do is actually maybe have somebody play the Game of Thrones theme as you walk down the aisle, provided right now by the Wedding Day String Quartet. So listen up for how you can have your very own Westerosi wedding, obviously without all the murder, poison, power struggles and general awkwardness that happens. So first of all, let's take a look at the Red Wedding. If you do want your wedding to be like the Red Wedding, then I question your sanity, because it is without a doubt one of the most diabolical and disgusting, crazy episodes and scenes that there are in the show. But there are still things and inspiration that we can take from the Red Wedding. One of the things that actually happens during the Red Wedding is there's a musical cue for the said massacre to start, and that is the band that they have in-house. They start playing the Rains of Castamere. You can have your very own band, maybe not inducing a massacre, hopefully not at your wedding, but they can still play whilst your guests are eating and drinking. One of the acts that we have which are perfect for this are called the Castle Minstrels. They play in that kind of Victorian-esque vibe and can really enhance that moment of your day when people are sitting, eating, drinking and generally having fun. So the Red Wedding was a huge massacre, many died, but by Dothraki standards it probably went very well, because the Dothraki are a very crazy bunch, as you may well know if you've watched the series. If you want to have your very own Dothraki themed wedding, then percussion is going to be a huge part of this. Any of the Dothraki scenes that you see throughout the show are usually accompanied by some kind of percussion, and there are loads of great percussion groups that you can have that can mix and meander throughout your event. One of the acts we have are called the Big Bang, and they actually play on kind of pieces of trash and rubbish. I know it sounds weird, but they have like a makeshift thing to them where they'll go around at your event and play and really kind of bring the noise level up in your room. Another thing that happens in the very first episode, actually, in the Dothraki wedding, is some of Khal and Khaleesi's guests are having a fight to the death. Hopefully you won't induce your guests to do this, but you can still add that element of danger to your wedding. There are lots of kind of danger and stunt acts which are really great and will really get hearts racing as they watch them. Johnny S is a great one. He's known as a sword swallower, but he does a whole bunch of crazy different acts that will really get you on the edge of your seat. Another one we should mention is Daniela DeVille's Freak Show. You'll definitely have your heart in your mouth as you're watching her. She does lots of crazy different stunts. Check her out and see what she's up to. So one of the weddings in Game of Thrones which was packed with entertainment was Joffrey's wedding, also known as the Purple Wedding. A massive emphasis on comedy here. You can see many scenes where Joffrey and co are in stitches at the entertainment that they've booked. A great way you can shoehorn this in is to have a court jester. Kevin, the court jester we have, can turn up at your event. He'll tell jokes, generally act silly and have you all laughing. So who knew that Joffrey was a fan of Icelandic, moody post-rock? No, me neither, but if you look carefully, the wedding band that Joffrey has got playing in front of him are actually none other than Sigur Rós. You can have all kinds of wedding bands. These guys are playing unplugged on some kind of medieval pump horn, which might not be the vibe that you're going for, but definitely a way that you can have somebody play unplugged at your event. And if they're not too fancy, you can always throw coins at them like Joffrey does.
Very good, very good. Off you go.
So no Game of Thrones wedding is complete unless somebody dies. And thankfully Joffrey gets his comeuppance for throwing coins at his own entertainment when he gets poisoned at his own wedding. Obviously, we don't want anyone to die at your wedding, but you can still have this kind of vibe on your day if you want to by adding a murder mystery theatre. These guys are trained actors, they're script writers, they will turn up at your event and they will have a whole plot line and story running through your wedding where somebody will unfortunately die or get poisoned or have an accident, very Game of Thronesy, and you and your guests will try and have to figure out who done it. So finally, we're going to have to talk about the Black Wedding. Not too much on this because if you've seen the scene and you've seen the episodes, it is very dark and depressing, but it's still in a beautiful dark winter setting, and that's one thing that we're going to take away from it. This icy element to your wedding day is something that's really great, especially if you're having a winter themed wedding. Crystal ball jugglers are great. They usually dress up in costumes, and some of them will dress up in an Ice Queen costume. They're very kind of mysterious as well, which works great in that kind of fantasy setting. So hopefully there's some ideas in there for any of you Game of Thrones fans out there. We're all glad it's back and we all take some inspiration from the scenes in the show. If you guys have any questions about any other further ideas that you have for your wedding or any of the celebrations coming up, get in touch today. Thank you.